Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. So I have seen a lot of comments on different people's videos recently saying, yeah, it's all well and good people making videos about Shane Dawson, but we mustn't forget Jeffree Star, one of the main perpetrators of this whole situation that's going on right now. And I have to agree actually, so I figured, fuck it, yeah, let's make a video. Where is Jeffree Star? Honestly, right now it feels like a game of Where's Wally or Waldo in some countries. Do you remember that? Trying to look for that little man on the beach. I feel like that's what's going on with Jeffree Star. Came to my attention that Jeffree tweeted in 2018, when people stay silent, they're guilty. Let that show you who someone's true character really is. Where is Jeffree? Where the fuck is Jeffree Star? It's fascinating. Like, I'm genuinely actually fascinated because I don't think I've known him to ever stay this quiet. I didn't think it was possible for him to keep his mouth shut for this long. So there's a few things related to Jeffree Star that have popped up or happened recently. There was video footage of him at some store a while ago because his hair was braided, saying, well, he was talking about Morphe, explaining Morphe to the people at the desk, saying that it was a store that he'd invested in and they carried his makeup and it was like Sephora but better.
So what in the mall does you open the store?
Yeah, so it's called Morphe brushes. So it's like a company that I invested in and I have my own brand in the store. Kind of like a Sephora, but like better. Yeah, it's like the new wave. So we have 75 stores opening this year by Christmas. Yeah.
Wow,
yeah. And then we're going with
That's
Toronto,
nice.
Australia, England. We go to England in 2 days to open.
So people got confused by that, thinking, is he an investor of Morphe? Is he a co-owner? And Morphe had to come out with a statement and say that no, Jeffree does not own Morphe. He's never owned Morphe. He doesn't own shares or anything. They just carry his products. And also it seems that Morphe have come out and defended Jeffree. You know, they've fallen for the whole, he's actually changed despite never changing, hook, line and sinker. But they're no longer carrying the conspiracy palette, which is Shane's palette with Jeffree, but they're still carrying all of Jeffree's stuff. So Shane bad, Jeffree good, according to Morphe. Very confusing, very strange. Considering there's always been controversial stuff about Jeffree Star, it's quite strange that Morphe draws the line at Shane Dawson. Morphe obviously joining the bandwagon of let's ditch Shane Dawson because otherwise we look bad. That's all it fucking is. It's just about whether they look bad or not. They don't actually care because otherwise they probably wouldn't work with Jeffree Star if they did care. And you know what? Morphe makeup products aren't even that good. I got some lipstick and lip liner once. It was like a lipstick Nick collection. You know, lip liner, lipstick, lip gloss. It smelled like crayons. Shit. Chucked it away. Is that bad to admit? It smelled like crayons. It was crap. So it felt like crayons on my lips. Wasn't good. All cakey. Don't recommend. But it's just yet another one of Jeffree Star's bizarre lies. Like, I've never drank any alcohol, or I own that mountain. Remember that. Remember, in one of Shane's videos, Jeffree's like, I own this mountain at the old pink house he had. And he doesn't. He doesn't own the mountain. So, I was going to get into this later on in the video, but I'm just going to throw it up now. I believe Jeffree is rich. I believe he's got fuck you money. I don't believe he's as rich as he makes himself out to be. I reckon he's got that new place, you know, the massive McMansion, the Disney hotel resort. I think he's got that on a mortgage or something. Fixed rate variable, I don't know, I'm not a realtor. But I don't think he's bought it outright. I don't believe he's got as much money. Because the thing is, you can't trust anything he says. But if he does have all that money, then I don't think he's going to be rich long term, like 10 to 20 years, because he lives so extravagantly. It's like when rappers are actually broke because they're trying to maintain this image of pure wealth. So they've got mansions and they're buying cars, but then they're actually getting broke in real life because of their extravagant spending sprees. For those on my channel who know, you know, I've got a new pet, so I'm momentarily distracted by them. Anyway, so basically, yeah, either he's making out that he's some sort of like millionaire in the 100 millions, or he is, but might not last long because of the way he spends his money. I'm not a financial advisor. I just don't believe anything he says. For good reason. So Jeffree's been silent on all social media since before Tati did her video when the backlash was really starting to happen. But he did say, he tweeted out or he put on Instagram that he was going to go visit his 103-year-old grandmother who lives somewhere else in the United States. Picture of him inside a private jet going off to spend some time with his grandma, except actually that was a picture from January and he's still in LA because some fans got a picture of him and he went and bought a car from another YouTuber called Stradman or something like that. And something about that makes me laugh. I don't know if it's bad that it makes me laugh. Is it bad that it makes me laugh that Jeffree is just pretending he's out the country and he's so unbothered by the drama? Shane Dawson is losing his fucking mind right now doing... Well, he did the one infamous live stream of him screaming at Tati and he's probably sitting in his mansion fretting. Meanwhile, Jeffree Star is out buying cars and pretending that he's with his grandma. Just like, firstly, will you use everyone as a meat shield? Like, oh, leave him alone, he's just hanging out with his nan kind of thing. Secondly, what? Again, I don't know if that is a reflection on me and it makes me bad, but I think it's kind of hilarious that he's just not giving a fuck. And people kept commenting on that Instagram post, being like, when are you going to talk about this? Are you going to talk about this? Will you take accountability? So he's now just turned off the comments. Again, I find him an odious human being, but I do think that's funny how he's literally like, oh, trolls. Well, luckily for me, I can just turn off my internet. Shane's career is tanking right now. Jeffree isn't suffering as badly in terms of subscriber loss, but Jeffree isn't saying anything. He's not saying anything to defend, arguably, the man who turned around his public image with those PR vlogs they did together of, yes, I was bad, but I've changed now. Believe me, I'm not going to show you in any way, shape or form how I have changed, but just take my word for it. It's ironic because Jeff was so quick to use Shane as a meat shield in that Mum's Basement podcast, and now look what's happened. He's off just on a spending spree around Sunset Boulevard and Shane's weeping in his mansion. How long until that friendship and that house of cards falls? There have been people wondering whether Jeffree is going to cut ties with Shane publicly, and I just think at this point, you might as well just defend him. As in, Jeffree might as well just come out and defend Shane. Because if Jeffree came out and cut ties with Shane publicly because of everything that's going on, people would be able to see through that. Even a lot of his teenage fans would be able to see that that's clearly just a PR move because everyone's cancelling Shane at the moment and going harder on him than they are harder on Jeffree. It would really show him up for the snake he is if he turned around and went, yep, I don't condone Shane either, and oh, look at these texts where he might have said something naughty or not. People would see through that and just be like, Jeffree, you fucking snake, what are you doing? Go on, Voldemort. Do you know what I mean? People call Jeffree Voldemort quite often, but I think my calling him Nosferatu is way better, more original. As I said just a few seconds ago, Jeffree has fuck you money, so I think he thinks he can just weather the storm. And arguably, maybe he can. The public usually, or the masses usually move on pretty quickly to another person to counsel. Maybe if Jeffree lays low and comes back in 5 months' time with a new palette, people would have stopped giving a shit and putting energy into this and would buy the palette. Maybe. Some people are also propagating a conspiracy that maybe Jeffree and Shane are doing this for a social experiment so that in 6 months' time, they can come out with a new series of them bettering themselves, or maybe a series about cancel culture. And firstly, stop giving them both too much intellectual credit. Come on. I don't think any of them are thinking this far ahead at the moment. Secondly, if they did do that, would people forget? Do you know what? Yeah, fuck it. A lot of people probably would be like, oh, well, it's been 6 months. I'm sure they've changed this time. I'm going to take their word for it this time. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That kind of thing. Fool me 10 times and fuck it, how gullible am I? Also, someone released voice memos of Jeffree slagging off Nicki Tutorials by calling her the fat friend, which... He's so lovely. He's such a... I can't think of why he's getting any backlash at the moment. He's such a nice, misunderstood individual. You guys are just too sensitive. Clear, obvious, dripping sarcasm there. Like, calling someone the fat friend. Who the fuck does that? I wonder what he says about Shane behind his back. The thing about Jeffree is, and we saw it in the last vlog that Shane and Jeffree did together, Jeffree turns up to events looking, you know, pristine and polished and washed and dressed properly. Shane rocks up, sometimes covered in dog hair. There was one meeting, I'm going to do a video on Shane's documentaries. I shouldn't say documentaries really, like, that's being a bit too gracious. There's one bit where Shane rocks up and he is covered in fucking dog hair, or cat hair, or just hair. He's covered in hair, and he looks like he hasn't showered for days. So I wonder what Jeffree says about Shane. I know that Trisha has been publicly defending Shane and publicly ditched Jeffree because it came out that he bullied her on a trip, made her feel bad, spoke about like her drug abuse and her skin and her weight, etc, etc. I don't really keep up that much with Trisha Paytas because she uploads all the fucking time and all of her videos are like so long. And also, I guess if there's one person I wouldn't really want to talk about publicly, it probably is Trisha Paytas, because I don't want her to make several videos about me crying on her kitchen floor. So there's that. So many beauty YouTubers and influencers are so cautious about talking about Jeffree Star or scared of him. I'm here like, I don't want to talk about Trisha Paytas, I'm scared of her. She's going to make 100 videos on me if I mention her more than 2 times in a video. There are a lot of people wanting Nate, Jeffree's ex-boyfriend, to come out and make a video and do something, but look, he clearly broke up with Jeff and has gotten away from the limelight and fame, so I don't think people should be asking him to come back and come back into this mess because, you know, they broke up for a reason. He's gotten away from the mess for a reason. Yes, he would have a lot of dirt and a lot of tea, 5 years worth of it, but at the same time, he's a human being first before a teapot, a kettle. Look at me being fair and reasonable. Who do I think I am? And also the amount of NDAs Jeffree has probably made Nate sign, probably longer than the Bible. And there's 2 more things I want to mention in this video that's vaguely related to Jeffree Star. D'Angelo Wallace just made a 45-minute long video documentary in its own right all about the lies of Jeffree Star, and he mentioned in it that he thinks, this is pure speculation on his part, he thinks the FBI investigation about the robbery, the $2.5 million robbery. Remember, Jeffree said that people broke into his warehouse and stole all those makeup products, you know, $2.5 million worth of makeup. He reckons it's not true because of the amount Jeffree has lied. I agree. I've been thinking that way recently, like, oh, remember that thing that happened and it was just never really mentioned again, even though Jeff loves being able to victimize himself. So, you know, him not mentioning that he had that much product worth being stolen from him. Of course, there's absolutely no evidence to that. Do not take anyone's word for it. But when the guy has been on record lying about owning mountains, my sister just texted me saying, should I buy a cat backpack? Not a backpack shaped like a cat, but a backpack to put her cat in so they can go on walks together. Why is my family like this? Anyway, so and there's no evidence for it, I low-key kind of agree with him. I mean, you can't really trust anything that Jeffree says, and isn't it convenient? Didn't it build up a lot of hype for the release of his, you know, concealer line? And also some paparazzi bloke went up to James Charles recently and tried to get him to talk about the Jeffree Shane situation. And the paparazzi, he asked him a question about it the first time, and you see James say, I don't want to talk about this. But as James is saying, I don't want to talk about this, the paparazzi continues talking, saying his sentence. He pretends not to hear James, and then he asks him a second time, and James kind of, you know, has like a non-committal kind of answer towards it, thinking that cancellations of people should be dealt with on a case-by-case basis. That's vaguely what he says. And just, I don't know, whenever I see paparazzi videos, like American paparazzi, on one hand, yes, you have to accept that there is going to be some, well, a big level of scrutiny from the press. If you become famous, like, you have to kind of accept that. But at the same time, I think American paparazzi are just so different to paparazzi in England. You can clearly see that someone's uncomfortable, and, you know, if James hasn't spoken on his channel about the whole Jeffree Shane Tati situation, he's not going to fucking answer questions for a paparazzi. And yeah, I know, get your bag, but at what cost? Because it's either paparazzi lack the ability to decipher insanely obvious social cues, it's very obvious when someone's uncomfortable and doesn't want to talk about something, or they're just fucking rude and just really want to get that scoop no matter what, and I can't respect either of those things. I do think that the paparazzi are just a different beast entirely in the US, so I don't like it. It's like when you see them hanging around airports just to kind of... but also at the same time, I am aware that like celebrities will call paparazzi on themselves. I'm aware of that. I reckon Tada Mojo does. But I don't know, I just don't really like it. Anyway, that's all for this video. Where is Jeffree Star? Who knows, just riding around in his new car pretending to be hanging out with his nan. That's kind of funny, don't you think? He's a peculiar character, and I'm going to be interested seeing going forward how he reacts to this situation, if he reacts at all. If he goes scorched earth on everyone, or if he just doesn't bother, lays low for a bit, comes back in a year's time, like, hey, remember me? Got a new palette out. It'll be interesting to see. Anyway, that is all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to like, comment, subscribe. I make new videos whenever I feel like it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!